Well, welcome to Health and Wellness with Coach A.T. Moore. Today we have an amazing guest. I'm so worried I'm going to mispronounce his name because I'm so bad at names. So give me grace. We have Dr. Aissa McGirl.
McGirl, yeah.
So thank you for agreeing to come on the show. Now, where are you currently? Where are you located?
I am in sunny St. Pete. I just moved here about a year ago. Sunny St. Pete.
Where'd you move from?
Connecticut.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome. I'm in Texas.
That's next on my bucket list.
Really? Yeah, you got to come on through. Don't move here. We got too many people here, but come on.
Same in Florida.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go through all of your receipts because there are a lot. You are a physical therapist, a holistic fitness coach, you are an educator, and you are a pregnancy postpartum coach. You have a lot of initials behind your name. Let's start with DPT. Now, I am assuming that means Doctor of Physical Therapy. Am I right? I'm right? Yeah, okay, got that right. Okay. Now the CS, I have no idea. So help me with that.
Strength and conditioning specialist.
Oh, strength and conditioning specialist. Okay. All right. So let's go through all of your different professions. Physical therapist, what does that entail for someone that kind of does not know?
So the typical physical therapy realm is where people get injured or they have like a surgery or something, or they have some type of pain, and they pretty much come to see us for us to fix them or show them things how to fix themselves.
Holistic fitness coach.
Okay, so I kind of made this term up a little bit. So holistic means everything incorporating all together. So I'm incorporating the mind, incorporating what you eat, incorporating how you think, how you feel. Because in typical fitness, physical therapy, things of that sort, if you don't address some of these other things or point people in the right direction to address some of these things, you're not going to get too far. So in my fitness coaching programs, I incorporate a lot of this stuff, such as nutrition, just focusing on like your stress management, things of that sort. And just working on like your overall sleep and just overall quality of life to help you reach your goals.
Man, I wish I could high five you from the screen. You are speaking my language. Yes. The holistic approach. I love it. And I absolutely agree with everything you just said. Now let's talk about the educator part.
So I am an education junkie. So I take course after course after course, read books after books after books. So on social media, I just like to educate people on just connecting the body dots. So when I say that, I mean connecting your foot to your head, how you slept to how you feel, to what you ate, to if you have to go to the bathroom a lot, all those things. So everything that I try to preach and tell other people, it's pretty much saying that you can't just rely on one thing. You got to connect things all together. And I'm just trying to put that information out there of all the things that I've learned.
I do feel like I come away having learned something when I go to your Instagram page. I'm looking at my posture. I'm looking at how I'm typing. Like I feel like I've learned something when I go to your different reels that you post every day. So it's very informative. Good. And the last one, we have a pregnancy and postpartum coach. What does that entail?
Okay, so I also work for a fitness app, and it's tailored mostly towards women. There are some men on there, but it's mostly towards women. So I started this about 2 years ago, right when I became pregnant. What I do for the app is I design their warm-ups, their cool-downs, their core section and functional workouts, and a cardio section as well. So I'm working with mostly women, so I want to be able to know women's body just the best way possible. So about a year ago, I studied the pelvic floor, so I treat pelvic floor patients now. So people with incontinence, pain with sex, pain with period cramps, things of that sort. So I treat people with those types of problems. But I also kind of took it a step further in just like looking at pregnancy and postpartum, because a lot of women, they're pregnant, they're going to have to deal with pregnancy and postpartum. So I want to be able to deal with them to the best possible.
I love it. What led you into this career field?
In high school, I really wanted to work with basketball players. So I'm like, I'm going to be a physical therapist and work with basketball players, but everybody says that. So it just kind of led me to right here in the PT school. I wasn't really ready for being in grad school, being a new young adult, taking on more responsibility, working, going to school at the same time. So in that time, my body just went like, whoa, what are you doing to me? I had like all these like random symptoms and things of this sort. That kind of made me like visit doctor after doctor after doctor. So because of that, I've kind of just learned all these like little different things to mostly fix myself. So in learning to fix myself, I'm also able to kind of translate this into other people as well.
I think those are the best teachers when you start off trying to learn about whatever's going on with you, and then you can help others because you've done your own research. So I like that. What do you think are some misconceptions about physical therapy or, a physical therapist?
I don't know if I'd call it a misconception because I think there's levels to PT just as there are in like any field. So you're going to get the run-of-the-mill PT that has you just do like the simple straight leg raises, hamstring stretch, things of that sort. So when some people say, I don't like PT, they really didn't do anything for me. Yeah, they may have not done anything for you because they do the same thing with everybody else. There are a lot of physical therapists out there that kind of take a look at this more holistically and kind of incorporate different things, incorporating breathing, incorporating mobility, incorporating strengthening, not just these typical like straight leg raises, things of that sort. You start doing squats, you do lunges, you do deadlifts. So that's a misconception, but it just depends on who you go to see.
Okay.
You go to see me, you're going to be doing deadlifts, you're going to be doing lunges, you're going to be doing squats eventually, not right in the beginning, depending on who you are, but you're going to be doing all those things.
It's so funny that you said deadlifts and squats because me and my husband were having a conversation. He was saying he's getting ready to run his first half marathon, and he was trying to figure out how he can do, some things he can get into to kind of strengthen some areas that he wants to strengthen. And I was like, let me tell you, when it comes to coaching, because I'm a personal trainer as well, I keep it simple. There are two movements that you need to do: deadlifts, and there's a variety of deadlifts you can do, and squats. Those two things. And so when you said that, you're speaking my language because you can do so many, and I see you doing so many different versions of deadlifts and RDLs, and I see your page, I'm like, oh yeah, I like that movement. Yeah. So why should someone seek out a physical therapist? Is it only if you have an injury, or like, is there any reason they should seek a physical therapist out if they don't have an injury? Maybe they're trying to correct something or preventative.
I guess this kind of like goes into the misconceptions, and this partially has to do with like most insurance-based models. I think a lot of insurances won't pay for preventative care, and that's just our typical sick care that we have here. But you should see a PT for preventative care.
What should people look for in a therapist so they can determine whether or not they're good or not? Because there's so many out there. Are there certain questions? Are there certain certifications that they should look for? Like, how can they do some probing to figure out if this is a good fit or not?
That's a good question. I don't think you necessarily need to have a ton of different certifications to be considered a good physical therapist. I think one of the best ways to kind of like look at it is look for reviews. I always tell people to look for reviews that they have online just to see if other people have had a good experience with this person.
I think a physical therapist's role is to help maximize a person's quality of life, and sometimes the role of exercise is misunderstood or underutilized to improve a person's mental health. So as a physical therapist, how do you feel a physical therapist improves a person's overall mental health?
I think a lot of people come into physical therapy not necessarily knowing their mental health may be a little bit off. I think some people just aren't understanding of like what their mental state is. When people come to see me, depending on who they are, they might be in a different state. So some people come in, my shoulder hurts a little bit. Some people come in, everything hurts. So the people who just everything hurts, those people, they might be a little down. They might not even know they might be a little down because they've probably been in this state for so long. So some people, they get in this state where, something hurts, something else hurts, something else hurts, and they go to the doctor and they want the doctor to fix all of these problems for them. But it's likely just a combination of all these things that have been going on throughout their life to like why they feel like that. So over this course of time, they might have just been feeling worse and worse about themselves. And they're in this state of just pain all the time. So when you're in pain, you don't want to do things as much. You might want to eat crappier food. You might not want to do the things that you want to do, or you might just go into like some bad habits such as drinking, smoking, like not doing as much, just because you're in this state of pain and you just keep going down and down and down. So my role is to kind of step in and get some of these things a little bit better as to why they're feeling this pain, but also the things that they're doing outside of physical therapy, such as their eating habits, their stress levels, how they're sleeping, is going to feed back into the pain that they're feeling in the first place. So that's why that's why I say I'm holistic, because I'm taking a look at the things that they're doing outside to bring into why they're feeling this pain, because a lot of the people that have like these problems everywhere, they're considered, or they may be considered, a chronic pain patient. And pain is just a neurophysiological response that's going on in the brain. And it's just how your body is reading this message.
Kind of like you're trying to help people see that you can feel some of these emotions in your body. So where would you feel stress in the body? Where would it show up?
I think that really just depends on the person. So you can probably hear people say, oh, I have a migraine. Oh, my neck hurts today. Oh, my back hurts today. Like my pelvic floor patients, I have to go to the bathroom a lot more today. I'm experiencing more pain down there today. My foot hurts. It really just depends on the person and how your body compensates for what it doesn't have. So in our nervous system, our autonomic nervous system, we have our parasympathetic and our sympathetic nervous system. So our sympathetic nervous system is that fight or flight. So that kind of helps us get out of danger. Some of us, we're just stressed all the time, and we're in this constant like sympathetic response. So our body is constantly saying, get me out of this stress. So in this stress posture, you might have a lot of tightness in your back. You might be using your neck to help you breathe. And because of that, you're not using your diaphragm to help you breathe, which kind of exacerbates that stress response. In this, you'll get like a lot of tone in your muscles. Your muscles might feel a little bit tighter, things of that sort.
I think this year was the first time that I ever felt anxiety in my body.
Mm-hmm.
I was walking my dog and I was just really worried about something. And then I was like, man, my throat hurts. Yeah, my throat is tightening up. My stomach, my lower stomach was tightening up. I just had never made the connection between what I was thinking and what I was feeling. I know that it is. I know there is a connection. I just had never found it. And so it kind of made me start to Google, okay, where do most people feel stress? Where do most people feel anxiety? Where do most people feel happy and joy and all this stuff? And so it started to make me more aware of some of the body, the aches, the tightness, the soreness that I feel in my body. How do you make a client aware that maybe their hectic schedule, their lack of sleep, their lack of water might be the cause of some of these ailments? Is there questions that you ask? There's a question that you ask your clients that make you think, okay, this might not be an injury. This might be, it might be because of a lifestyle that doesn't allow for sleep, a lifestyle that doesn't allow for rest or worry.
So I think so when I see all of my patients, I always ask them like a series of questions about like specifically like why they're in here, and then just like their lifestyle, their like itself. So some of my patients will tell me, I only sleep 6 hours. And I ask them, so what's your diet like? They say good. And I say, what does that mean? And then they proceed to tell me that, yeah, I cook sometimes, I go out to eat every once in a while, I drink a little bit of water. And so the good means something different to other people.
Right.
So it's hard to say, okay, now you got to sleep 8 hours. Now you got to cook all of your food. Now you got to prep your food. You can't go out to eat anymore. So it's a tough battle.
Yeah.
So what I try to do is kind of just pick little things that I think are really like either that are easy to change, or just pick a few different things at a time. because it's likely a combination of the sort. So if you're not sleeping well, you're not recovering well. If you're not eating well, you're going to have more bloating. You're not going to get enough nutrients. You're not going to have that abdominal tension that you need to kind of help you move throughout the day. If your back is really stiff, you're not going to get that alternating movement. You're not going to be able to kind of turn muscles on and then turn muscles off as you start to walk. So it's kind of just saying, okay, add this in here a little bit. Try to sleep maybe a little bit more. Maybe put your phone away. Maybe add a few different things in here, because I find it's most people that have this problem. It's not just, and like I want to say, like there's levels to it. There's some people who have like a relatively healthy lifestyle, but there's other things that they could do to make their body just feel a little bit better. Then there's the people who just are living terrible, and they have ways to go, and it's going to take a lot longer with those people. So with those people, you can't just say, okay, now you got to sleep 8 hours, you got to cook every meal. They're not gonna come back to see me.
Right. Yeah.
I'm just annoying to them.
Yeah.
So it's just step by step with these people.
Yeah, it's little bitty adjustments in order to reach the bigger goal. So someone might be watching this and they're thinking, man, I am stressed. I do have anxiety, and they're wanting to know, what are ways I can reduce some of my stress and some of my anxiety? What recommendations would you give them outside of, working less hours, or ending that relationship, or because the wrong relationship can stress you out too. The wrong job, toxic work environments can give you stress. But what are some ways that they can reduce stress and anxiety on their own, that they can start the process, after watching this show? We will continue part 2 of our conversation with Dr. McGurl. My apologies for the distorted sound. Y'all give me a little bit of grace as we work through the audio difficulties. This is Health and Wellness with Coach A.T. Moore.